DevOps is really confusing. A lot of recruiters struggle with DevOps because it is sort of everything and nothing at the same time. It is a team culture, it is a set of best practices, it is a set of tools, but at the same time it's not really clearly defined what it really is, or different people can interpret it differently. So on this mind map, you will see some of the tools that are usually used in a DevOps environment. You will also learn some basic glossary, really, like just a few terms that are frequently on job requirements or on candidates' profiles, like CI, CD. And you will also learn a little more about those pillars. So why is DevOps so popular these days? What are the reasons why do developers and managers embrace it so much and implement in those companies? So this mind map is quite detailed. I'll do my best to explain it just on a high level, and then we have also a dedicated module inside the Tech Recruitment Academy where you can learn more about how to recruit DevOps or cloud engineers. So let's dive right in. So we are now looking at the DevOps mind map, and let me first walk you through some of the essential glossary, the terminology. So what does DevOps really mean? Well, DevOps integrates developers and operations. So by now you can see where does the term DevOps actually comes from. So it merges the two words, development and operations. So DevOps integrates developers and operations teams in order to improve collaboration and productivity by automating infrastructure. This is really important. It also automates workflows, that's also important, and continuously measuring application performance, continuous monitoring. Continuous integration, CI, is a practice of merging changes produced by developers as often as possible, even a couple of times a day. And continuous delivery is a practice of automating releases and release-related tasks and making sure that every tested change is ready for delivery. So it is the delivery to the production. It is the release. Continuous integration is merging different codes or code bases, different software code from different developers together. So that's why integration, because the code is integrated and the delivery is to the production environment. There are some programming languages involved, some scripting languages used for the automation part of DevOps. So it could be Python, it could be Shell, Bash, Ruby, PowerShell. These languages are used to automate the tasks. As I mentioned, it's either merging of the code base or it is delivery to the production. DevOps is also based on the best practices and also some tools that developers often use, but DevOps is or represents also some team culture. So the team culture that is based on communication, knowledge sharing, autonomous teams, collaboration. Okay, so this is how the DevOps teams are supposed to work. They are supposed to collaborate, communicate. Without DevOps, there are usually silos between developers and operations. But with DevOps, there should be no silos. So DevOps is based on these pillars, such as continuous improvement, automation, software engineering best practices, and infrastructure, ideally infrastructure as a code. So when it comes to continuous improvement, we are talking about proactive monitoring, some metrics that are tracked frequently and automatically. When it comes to automation, I already mentioned the continuous integration and continuous delivery. When it comes to some best practices, then we are talking about different coding styles. It should be somehow merged into one that everyone in the team follows. a source control system, for example with Git, and peer code reviews. That's what developers do frequently. They review each other's code. So this is the DevOps environment, the modern way to build software. And they also have to use certain tools, certain containers, for example, to allow some of those activities, some of the automation. So the containers, one of the most popular one is Docker. Some container managers include Kubernetes or Docker Swarm or Apache Mesos. So these container managers manage those containers. So imagine as a developer, you would have one container with Docker, and then you would also need some container management system if you would like to replicate the one Docker container in different locations among different developers in different environments. So that allows scaling. There are usually different environments that developers work in. So it's a local environment where everyone has their own computer. That's called local environment. Then testing environment, staging environment, where developers merge code together and they can integrate and run some integration tests. Also production environment. So different types of environments. I'm not saying that every team has all these environments, but the larger the team, the more testing environments they need. Cool. What else is important? Well, some of these DevOps tools I would certainly mention. You should be aware of continuous integration tools such as Jenkins or GitLab or Travis CI. So these tools are frequently used by DevOps engineers, but also developers who work in the DevOps environment. Someone else set up those tools and they just join the team and start using these tools. There are some configuration management tools. Oh my god, that's a thick one. So configuration management tools such as Ansible, Puppet, or Chef. So you can start asking about these tools during your screening calls. You can ask a DevOps engineer what configuration management tool have they used, or what log management and analysis tool have they used, what network monitoring tool have they used, what alerting tool have they used. You can just ask these questions during an interview, and you will see if the candidate has been there and done that. When it comes to cloud, I was already talking about different cloud providers, so I'll not spend too much time talking about the public or private cloud. I already mentioned all of these. Infrastructure as a service or platform as a service, I explained in the cloud mind map. So if you haven't seen that one, so check it out. It will be on page 31. And yeah, the source code management, that's a must these days, but especially Git, that's the most popular one. So with Git comes GitHub, GitLab, or Bitbucket. Mercurial Subversion is considered rather obsolete. I just have it here, so when you see the keyword, you can recognize it, but Git is by far most popular. And in the DevOps environment, it's all about automation, and automation can only happen with automated testing. Otherwise, they cannot release new code to production environment. So they need to test automatically, and there are different types of these tests. So for example, the unit test or integration test or regression test. So these tests are executed usually automatically. And in order for them to be executed automatically, they need to be written in some language. So for example, in C# or in JavaScript language. And if a developer chooses C# language, well, then they would use one of these frameworks. If a developer chooses JavaScript language, then they would use one of these frameworks, Jasmine, Mocha, Jest. There are also some other testing frameworks that are language agnostic, so they can be used no matter what programming language was chosen. Okay, so for example, Selenium as an example. Okay, so with this, I guess you should understand the high-level overview of the whole DevOps landscape. And there is obviously a lot more to this. I really quickly went through the most important IT terminology within this domain, but there is a lot more that you can learn from our members area. So if you have any job opening related to DevOps or cloud, then just go to our members area, where you will find a dedicated module that focuses on recruiting cloud and DevOps specialists. And in the module, you will see several examples of job requirements, how to analyze the job requirement, how to find a candidate who is a good match for that particular opening, how to screen a candidate, what questions to ask. I just gave you a few questions now with with regards to those tools, but there is a lot more that you can ask. So inside the module, you will learn those screening questions and how to identify who is a good match. So if you would like to close some of these highly demanded IT professionals, then join the members area inside the Tech Recruitment Academy. Scroll down in training modules and find the module called Recruiting DevOps and Cloud Specialists. And if you would like to fill more IT vacancies, if you work or plan to work as an IT recruiter, then you may find this whole booklet with over 40 mind maps useful. So the booklet includes mind maps that cover the whole IT landscape on a high level, and then we dive deeper. So you can find there, for example, software web development overview with JavaScript. So you will be able to understand the hiring managers and IT candidates a little better than so far, probably. So recruiters from all over the globe buy this booklet with mind maps, and that's also why I have started recording videos to interpret these mind maps. So just looking at software development landscape on a high level, we dive deeper. In the members area, you can also find videos that cover each mind map separately. So we are talking about a few dozens videos that can give you really awesome overview of the whole IT space so that you can close candidates with confidence, easier and faster. There are screening questions, there are Boolean search operators, so a lot is covered on these mind maps. So just go to the website and get your PDF file right now. Just go to itrecruitermindmaps.com.